PlanKCK is a comprehensive plan.
It's a comprehensive plan.
PlanKCK is your opportunity to tell us what you want from your government and what you want from your community.
It's a North Star for all of Wyandotte County.
PlanKCK, when you look at the advertisements and the invitations, it's a process. It's more than that. PlanKCK, I've said before, is setting a direction that has involved the public. So it's not some lofty person like me at the top floor of the municipal building creating something. It's staff, it's the elected officials, it's all the stakeholders in the community, and it's an opportunity for the citizens. In the end, it's a path that we all have had involvement in. And that's what PlanKCK is.
Planning in the unified government is making sure that everybody's rowing in the same direction inside City Hall and making sure that that is aligned with what our community is asking for us to do.
The organization is taking its responsibility of trying to create direction for our community. We cannot be a stagnant community. We have to continually move forward, but how do you do that? You have to go through these processes to gauge those directions.
It covers facets, transportation, housing, and economic development. So part of the plan would include mental health care, support services, and as well as housing and infrastructure and transportation. But how do all of these things work together to create a more healthy community?
I like to think of it as like the fabric of our community, and you have all of these different threads, right? You have your transportation thread, your housing thread, your food systems, your environmental justice, your economic development. All of these things work together to form, the quilt that is KCK. We haven't really had a plan that's kind of developed this North Star that unifies all of these different neighborhoods, right? We're so diverse.
The PlanKCK wants to address the diversity and all of the cultures that are represented in our city. We don't just have the best taco trail. We have over 73 different languages spoken in our public schools.
I think PlanKCK will do two things. It will identify those quick wins that will start to show and demonstrate real action in our community, but also will identify those long-term projects that will have structural realignment opportunities in our community, that will address the structural racism that's embedded in our land use, that will address affordable housing in our zoning code. But simply identifying those issues doesn't mean we can solve them in the first day. It requires constant attention from our community.
But there has been policies and procedures that have taken place within Wyandotte County and Kansas City, Kansas, that has not benefited all residents. And so we need to be able to have those open conversations, and we've had many of those conversations in public settings where there's been some identification that these policies have not benefited all of Wyandotte County.
The Planning and Urban Design Department has been adding capacity so that we're not simply making plans to sit on shelves. We are looking to become a part of the alignment across the unified government that helps departments implement the projects that have been identified by our community. And I think we're already starting to see some fruit from that in terms of the grants we've won recently and the money that we're bringing in from the federal and state governments to do some of these identified strategic projects that our community's been asking for.
We've done something with this plan. It's not sitting and collecting dust. It's actually a living document that we're using to guide our decisions, that we're using to go after grants and fund projects.
Through the PlanKCK process, we've encountered a lot of frustration from our community to a government that they don't feel has delivered on previous promises. The only way we can define how to move forward from that is to have a conversation with the people who are now your public servants in the unified government so that we can create not just a shared vision, but a shared action plan on how we're going to align very constrained resources to improve the quality of life for everyone in Kansas City, Kansas.
But we actually have to be out in the community and engage in the community, again, in that process of creating the change that they want to see. But the process of PlanKCK is actually inviting the community to become a part of the implementation plan. And I believe that's a very different process.
I think that this community cannot underestimate the value of organizing yourselves, defining what your immediate needs are as a citizen, as a block, as a neighborhood group, and leverage that grassroots power to impact real change in your community.
And that vision can only be a vision that's successful, for Wyandotte County when everyone has input into what that vision is.
I think PlanKCK seeks to hear and value these opinions from the community and incorporate them into the overall plan.
They're heard, they've had input, and the final product, whatever gets adopted by the commission, they can say, yeah, I was part of that.
To all of our citizens who feel like they have been unheard by their government, PlanKCK is the perfect opportunity to engage or maybe even re-engage with your elected officials, with your public servants, and with your community to help us define what that shared vision of our collective future looks like, to make sure that we can hold ourselves accountable and our elected officials accountable to those projects, so that the resources that may have been promised in the past do come to fruition. And we can only do that if our citizens participate in their democracy.